Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of Road Life with Chris. Today, I look like shit. Well, I've been working. But today we're going to do bruschetta chicken with a Aglio E Olio sauce, pasta. So we're going to do that up. My ingredients today, I've got a little bread right here. I'm gonna put some more butter on it and some seasoning. I'm gonna make a garlic bread for the bruschetta, or actually bruschetta, not bruschetta, bruschetta. We're gonna use some Roma tomatoes. We're gonna use some red onion. We're gonna use some garlic. And then for the chicken, I'm gonna just pan fry it, and I'm gonna season it with some salt, some pepper, a little Italian seasoning, oregano, thyme, onion powder, yeah. But the bruschetta, we're gonna have the tomatoes, and like I said, onions, garlic, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, pepper, and a little bit of balsamic vinegar and basil. And then for the pasta, we're gonna do olive oil, garlic, red pepper flake, and linguine. So that's what we're going to do today. It usually don't take very long to cook. I kind of got some of the stuff already head start with it, like the chicken. I've already seasoned it, and I beat the hell out of it, smashed it down so that way it cooks evenly, and I've seasoned it and everything. So, or at least one side of it, and I kind of let it sit for a little bit. So first I need to do is I've got the water on the boil, and I put a healthy amount of salt on it, because you want salty water when you boil your pasta. No oil, none of that crap. You just want salt, because if you put oil in it, then your sauce, if you're going to use an actual sauce like a red sauce or a cream sauce or anything like that, then that's not going to stick to your noodle. Well, we're going to be using a oil and garlic kind of sauce stuff, and so I'm not too worried about it, but I still don't put oil in my water. I just put salt in it. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to start preparing some of this stuff, getting it cut up, and then when I get done getting everything chopped up, then I will check back in with you, and we'll go from there. So again, thanks for joining me, and remember, if you like what I do, you like what you see, then like and subscribe and comment and tell me what to do. Tell me something. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. You know, just let me know something. But today I'm not on the road. Actually, I'm at home. Actually, I'm at my mom's house. But we are. I've got to go to a doctor's appointment tomorrow with the VA. So I'll come in for that, so I can be here for that. And then I'm gonna do basically a 34-hour reset, and then get back on the road. I'm gonna take this time, maybe do some fishing, maybe do some hunting. But one thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna wash my truck. I'm gonna polish up the chrome, and I'm gonna clean everything up on the inside, reorganize everything, and get ready for another long stint out on the road. So again, thanks for joining me, and let's see if we can get this done and make something healthy and worth eating. So we'll talk to you in a minute. All right, welcome back, everyone. So I've got my tomatoes diced up. I've got my onions finely chopped. I got some garlic. I got some basil, olive oil, salt, pepper, and balsamic glaze. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mix up and make my bruschetta. So I will show you how I do that. So I'm gonna adjust the camera here. So now then, hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. As soon as the camera starts shaking, stop shaking. So I've got my tomatoes in there. I'm gonna take my onion. I'm gonna mix my onion in. You can put as much or as little onion in there as you want. I used a whole small to medium onion. All right, I'm gonna dump all my garlic in. Okay. And then on my basil here, I'm gonna put pretty good amount right there, and maybe a little more. Oh, I got a stem in there. Don't want the stem. All right, so then I'm gonna put a little salt. You don't want to put too much salt because you can taste it and then go from there. And then I'm gonna put some pepper. Again, you're gonna put it in there, a little bit in there, and then you're gonna be tasting it to see how it tastes. So now we're gonna mix all that up, okay? You can use a wooden spoon, regular spoon, use your hands, whatever. I'm using this here handy dandy spatula thingy, which isn't all that strong, but at the same time, that way it's not crushing everything up and making a big mess. So just keep mixing it all in. Scrape the sides, make sure you get all the basil and salt and pepper, onions, tomatoes, get all that stuff off the side, put it back down inside there. Okay, so now once you get it all mixed in pretty good, all right, then you're going to take your olive oil, pop the top out of it here. You're going to sprinkle or pour some olive oil in, probably about, I don't know, 2 or 3 teaspoons. And then also, you're going to take your balsamic glaze. I like to shake it up a little bit, just make sure everything's in there, and then put some balsamic vinegar glaze in it. Just toss it around here. This glaze has been reduced so it's thick, which I like, so that way it sticks. And I'm gonna put about tablespoon and a half, whatever, and then mix all that up. And remember, this is called bruschetta, not bruschetta. So it's basically a classic Italian appetizer. Some people make a complete meal out of it. I'm gonna make a meal out of it by putting it on top of some chicken. And go from there. My nephew loves this stuff. I really like it. I don't know too many people that don't like it. So all right, now it's mixed in pretty good. So now I want to try and taste it real quick. Okay, make sure I got my seasoning right. A little more salt. A little more pepper. Right out of pepper. Then mix it. Balsamic's good. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more basil in it as well. You can use fresh basil, you can use dry basil, or a combination of the two. Get that stem out of there, and then sprinkle some more basil in. I'm gonna go ahead and use the rest of it here because I like basil. And then just mix it. Some people like taking the tomatoes and draining the juice out of them. I personally don't, because I like it to be juicy, because when you serve it on top of toast, your really crusty bread that you toasted, then it helps suck up those juices and you get the flavors a little bit more widespread. I mean, it's really good that way. So we're going to try it again here and see. That's it. So now I'll just go ahead and scrape the sides down real quick. And then kind of spread it out, kind of flatten it out. And then this will go in the ice box and sit while I prepare everything else. So I'll check back in with you here in a few minutes. All right, I'm back. So I've smashed down my chicken and I've seasoned one side. So now I'm gonna flip it over and season the other side, okay? These were pretty good sized chicken breast, and they were thick on one end and thin on the other. I wanted them to cook a little bit more evenly, so I went ahead and beat them down. You can use a mallet, you can use skillet, whatever. But that was a little onion powder. I'm gonna put a little Italian seasoning. Then I'm gonna put a little ground thyme. And a little bit of ground oregano. And then of course, salt. And pepper, although I'm pretty much out of pepper, which I peppered the other side. So now I'm going to fire up the stove and get my pan hot, get my water to boiling, and I will check back with you here in a minute. All right, welcome back. So now my skillet's nice and hot, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put my chicken in. All right, I'm gonna put it away from me. That way the oil doesn't splash back and burn me. And then let that sit there and cook. I've got my water on the boil. I've got salt in it, so it'll be nice and salty. Wait for that to come up to boil. So while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up my garlic. So I'm gonna adjust my camera here on this side here. Hopefully y'all can see that pretty well. Woo! Look at that. I knocked my camera down. All right, welcome back. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna chop up my garlic, get it ready for my yeah, that one. And so all you want to do with it, you just want to basically really thinly slice it. That's it. So get it thin sliced. So that's what I'm going to do here now then. You want to be careful not to cut yourself, because you're going to be cutting it really thin. You know, some people use pressed garlic, some use chopped, and some just do sliced. I want to do sliced this time. I do it different ways, different times, just to see which one tastes better. They all have a different taste, in my opinion, because it extracts a little bit more of the garlic when you do different ways. Especially if you do like a using a press, like one of these right here. If you press it, then it's like it extracts more of the garlic flavor. So if you like that, then you can go that way. I personally don't like the as strong of a garlicky flavor, so I like to just do this thin sliced, almost shaved. Like I said, it's not easy. So what I'm doing here is I've got a fillet knife. Not the best knife in the world to use to do this, but it works. Gives me a little bit more control, in my opinion. So I'm doing 5 cloves, you know, pretty large cloves, so that way I get, you know, pretty good flavor. And then I'll show you what I'm gonna do with that here shortly. Right now I'm just prepping it while my chicken's cooking. So I'm gonna finish prepping this here garlic, and while my chicken's cooking and my water's coming up to boil, When it all gets where it needs to be, then I will bring you back. So we'll see you in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. One thing I didn't mention earlier was that we was going to need parsley. I don't have any flat leaf parsley, so we're going with this bunch of, curly leaf parsley. So I'm going to grab, pretty good bunch of it. Set some of it off to the side, and then I'm just going to kind of bunch it all up here. And then just use my knife here and just kind of chop it. All right, get down here where the stems are. I'll move off this to the side, and then just keep on chopping the parsley. Okay, you can use the two-hand method, just like this. Just when it's chopped up pretty fine, so you just keep chopping until you get the desired chop that you want on it. It may take a few minutes to get it off. It'll try to move on you. You gotta keep moving it back. Just keep chopping it up until you get it fine as you want it. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to move this over to a bowl to use shortly. Alright, so now then I'm going to go back to all my celery over here. Or not, I'm sorry, what I call celery for. My parsley. Alright, I'm going to get the stems off of it. Reason being, I'll show you here shortly. There's some stems. Alright. Here's some stems. You can just rip them off there like that. However you want to do it. So, and then I'm going to put a little chop on the stems here. You chop garlic the same way. Okay? I mean, if it ain't perfect, don't worry about it. It's your kitchen. You do it the way you want it. Alright, so now I got some celery. I'm not celery. I got some parsley here that I've chopped up. And so now I'm going to put that in this bowl right here. Okay. Alright, so that's all done. So I'm going to move you over to the stove. So give me just a minute and I'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. So, in that pan right there, I have nothing. I'm going to put some olive oil in it. Okay. I'm going to put a pretty good amount. Pretty copious amount. Cover the bottom and get it standing. I have no heat on it. Alright, so I've got, pretty good amount in there. I'm going to say that's probably, I don't know, eighth cup maybe. Just put a little more in there. There ain't much left. Just put it all in there. There we go. So that's all the olive oil in there. All right. So now I'm gonna take my garlic that I've cut up. Now, mind you, I have not turned on the heat yet. So now I'm gonna put my garlic in there. Okay. That I have sliced up. All right. Then I'm gonna get me a little spoon here, or wooden utensil, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna mix it around here a minute, and I'm gonna turn my heat on now to medium. And we'll let that come up to heat, the temperature. What's gonna happen is it's gonna start to cook, and it's gonna extract all those flavors out of that garlic. So I'm gonna let that start doing that. While that's doing that, then my pasta will be done. I don't want to get rid of the water yet. I'm gonna go ahead and stir it. Okay, and then I want to grab me a piece out of it. Right on the money. You want it al dente, so about 75% of the way, 75-80% of the way cooked. So that way you still got some bite, because you're gonna use this water with this, and you're gonna make like a sauce. So when that gets over here in a minute, and that temperature keeps coming up, you'll see it to start to kind of saute and kind of cook a little bit. When it does that, then we're extracting all those flavors, all the garlic out, and infusing that oil. So you see, you know, the pieces are thin. You know, I mean, they're not perfect because, well, I'm not perfect. But you just keep mixing it around a little bit, and let that come up to temperature and start to fry just a little bit. And then right before the garlic starts to change color, then you see now it's starting to cook a little bit. So once that starts to cook a little bit, and right before it starts changing color, those stems of that parsley, I'm gonna put that in there and get that little flavor in there, and then we'll go from there. So it ain't gonna be much longer. It's coming up. I just want to keep mixing it around here. See that's starting to do its thing. And you keep going. Let that cook for a minute, and I'll bring it back in just a minute. All right, now you see how it's cooking up here, and you see how we're just starting to get a little color on it. Okay, we don't want it to get too much color. So what we're going to do now is we're going to throw in the parsley stems, and we're going to mix that around. You know, I want to adjust my heat. Seems like it was a little high. So let that cook for a minute. Not very long. All right, so now I'm gonna get me a ladle right here. I'm gonna get some of my pasta water. All right, and I'm gonna bring it over here. Hear that sizzle there a little bit? So we're going to do that and see how it's kind of bubbling up. So what's going to happen now is all that oil and that water is going to get kind of like a infused or emulsified or whatever. So you just keep mixing it up here, and it's going to make like a sauce. And so now that that's in there a little bit, so now what we want to do is go ahead and throw it in the pasta. You know, if some of the more of the water gets in there, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You know, you're making a little sauce out of it, so it'll be all right. Oops, I dropped some. See that? Luckily, it went into a bowl. Alright, there we go. I think I've made enough of a mess there with that. So then you just basically stir that around. And what that's going to happen is all that oil and everything is going to get on there. That water and oil is going to basically kind of make like a sauce. They serve this a lot in Italy, you know, midnight, you know, late night, because it's quick, it's easy. It's also called a poor man's pasta. They say it was originated in Naples, Italy. So that's kind of cool. All right, so you know, this mixed around there a little bit. So, you know, I still got a pretty good little sauce in there. So I don't need to add any more water in my opinion. So now that that's done, so what I'm going to do now is I got some red pepper flake right here, right? So I'm going to sprinkle a little red pepper flake in there. Save some. Alright, that, and then I'm going to take my parsley that I chopped up, and I'm going to sprinkle that in there. Okay, and then mix it. Just like that. And that's pretty much done. So I'm gonna turn you off for a minute, and I'm gonna move everything over and get ready to start plating. All right, so I will see you back here in a few minutes. All right, welcome back everyone. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pasta Aglio E Olio here. All right, mix it around a little bit right here real quick. I don't have any tongs here, so I'm gonna scoop it up right here. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of it, put it right down here, just like this right here. Okay, make a little bed of it right there to the side. Set this down. I'm going to take some of my chicken. Okay, I'm going to lay it out here. Like I said, I'm not a professional plater. I am not a professional by any means. I just like to eat. So I'm gonna lay some of this chicken out right here, just like this. Ooh, there's a little spot right there. All right, I'm gonna get to the ice box here. I'm gonna grab my bruschetta that I made. I'm gonna give it a quick stir here real quick. You know, because now it's been sitting, had time for the salt to infuse everything. Get the balsamic going real good. You know, it's getting everything, all the flavors are getting incorporated. Get the flavors out of the basil all mixed in. So I'm gonna take some of this right here, sprinkle it right here on top, just like this. Okay. All right. Just depending on how much you want. And then, if you want, you can even put some right on top of your pasta. I'm not going to do that right now. So I got that there, and then I'm going to take some more of my parsley right here, and just kind of sprinkle it, and what they do, what they call it, like a garnish, man, make it look pretty. Well, you know what? I'm country boy, redneck, whatever you want to call it. I don't make nothing make look pretty, including myself. So that right there is basically it. I've got the bread in the oven toasting, so I almost forgot to do that. It's going to be a few more minutes, I believe. Let's check it real quick. Oh, that's hot. Well, let me pull it out of there. Let's see how good she's toasted and see if the butter's melted and everything. Yeah, this is kind of a rarity. I usually don't have an oven because most of the time I'm doing everything on the truck. This time I'm here at the house, and I know you probably can't see me. Ooh, you hear that crunch? So, what I'm gonna do is take my knife right here, get me a little cutting board, move all this stuff out of my way, and then I'm going to grab my bread. I'm gonna cut me off a little chunk of this bread right here. Hear that crunch? I'm gonna set it right there. Then we'll take this one right here, and I'm gonna set it right there as well. And then take some more of my bruschetta and just put it right there. So now those juices are gonna soak down into that bread and be delicious. There you have it. Tonight's dinner. Bruschetta chicken with Aglio E Olio pasta. So thanks for joining me. So there's dinner for tonight. So again, thanks for joining me. If you like what I do, like, subscribe. If you like this or try it, hey, let me know. But this is really simple, really good, and hope you enjoy the episode. We'll talk to you soon. Be safe.